Hello everyone, I am Miserluke and welcome to Battle 163 of TPD Season 2, where we have the first wave of a rather big battle between Eon and their allies, in this case Zaftra and Vicefin, up against a set of fleets from Mabarrabha, the Eternal City, by themselves. This is the first wave of likely 2, maybe 3, we'll see. Yeah. Zaftra has brought 2 of their brand new Auroras, which are one of which is going to get ran by the Chevalarn here, which will probably hurt a lot. That doesn't look too bad, but it looks maybe deceiving. Oh yeah, the Aurora just tanked that like a beast. Anyway, Eon have 2 Chevalarns and 1 of their Prismadrexy, which is already over there harassing Mr. Hands. And then Vicefin brought 2 of their Retaliators, which we have not seen before. Love the cage masts. And 1 Eliminator, which we... And I said 1 Eliminator, which we have seen before. But maybe it'll do better in this battle, with some nice, juicy targets to aim at. With... what is it aiming at? Surely it's not aiming at the Hawks, right? And where did the big circler go? I swear. Mababa! Mababa! Oh boy, let's see the range to the nearest enemy. The closest one will be the Prismadrex. I mean, you've got a Retaliator at 3.5. Actually is your closest. The Shah Ilbis has decided to retreat this battle. Let's see how the fleet fares without it. Oh, this might hurt. Let's see, will they dodge it? Okay, they'll be fine. But I think 3 Shahs might be more than they're going to be able to manage without a bunch of self-collisions. Although, I mean, they are just eating this Vicefin ship here. The Hands hunger. And the Eliminator class will be their victim. Oh. The Prismadrex is going down. As is one of the Auroras. Did this guy get hands? It must have been. Interesting. So this is looking very poorly for the defenders here, despite the Shai Ilbis running away. The defenders have lost 2 craft, and this Eliminator is probably soon to follow, as it's being pushed underwater pretty heavily. And it's almost below 80. But it may have brought this Handsman with it. We'll see if he recovers once the ship despawns eventually. Yeah, I mean... people have said that Mababa is not that good, but there's still a faction that have been fighting in the high meta area, and now they're fighting in the low-medium meta area. And the things that didn't work against high meta people happen to be very effective against those who are not. So even if their quality assurance is consistently terrible, and some of their designs might, to high meta people, look moderate, they are still very powerful. And in previous battles they suffered a lot because they ate target prio, while only having a smaller amount of the fleet cap. But here, it's all Mababa. And, I mean, some of their ships are taking damage. 2 of the Shahs are in their 80s. But in order to do that, I mean, they're absolutely devastating some of these craft. Now, if that guy gets taken out and the other guys never re-engage to melee, the defenders may just sweep this. Without the Yi Ilbis, they're giving up a lot of their fleet cap. But even then, the Shah Abara over here is hardly touched. And it's just going to keep on spewing out APS. Why are so many of them bouncing? And those look like they're doing no damage, so they must be like heat or hesh, right? Or are they just chunking stuff that wasn't visible from long range? Okay, they're chunking out stuff a little bit. Yep, there goes the Eliminator. It didn't even... It got cut in half. It didn't go sinking. It got cut down to 47, and it hasn't even started despawning yet. That's 2 damage, 4 seconds right there. Now, to do that, though, only one hand is left fully intact. So this guy's Reign of Terror may be nearing an end, but that's still a ton of damage dealt. Well, Mababa craft may not be amazing, but the people they're fighting typically are not building performance first. While Mababa at least made some effort, a significant effort towards performance. Like you don't use this number of spin blocks if you don't care about performance of your vehicles, not the game. If you care about performance of the game, you don't use anywhere near that many spin blocks. Or turrets. I don't even know actually what to these guys use. I assume it's one turret and a bunch of spin blocks, right? Or maybe 2 one-axis turrets and some spin blocks. Yeah, there goes the Chevalier, the Eliminator, the Retaliator, leaving now, I think, just the Aurora. Eating a ton of Proxy Fuse Ensign missiles from the orbiting Mahawks, the scourge of every Mababa battle. And now getting torn apart personally by Mr. Hands. Again, you all can cope and say that Mababa is really not that good, and this is therefore a fair fight. But look at the fight, man. They've destroyed an equal cost fleet with only like no damage dealt to that guy between 8 and okay, between 8 and 15% health out to the Shah Kratalas. That one's sinking. So like Mababa traded, they lost 1 ship to QA issues, and 1 ship to sinking, which nearly made it out of there. And the rest are all like hardly damaged. Like this is a big victory here. You cannot deny that. Oh, actually there is a Retaliator yet surviving. It is fleeing the melee cringe. No, it is actually re-engaging with the melee cringe. And it looks like it's been fighting the Mahawks this whole time. I don't know if it's been hitting them, because I think they've got a bit of a subtle bob in their movement. That is a lot more than a subtle bob for a 1.5 kilometer orbital. Yeah, they're never gonna make it back. Not with APS. Well, lovely battle as always. I think Mababa deserve whatever they get in this turn. Like, this is not a fair fight. Mababa got outcosted when you consider that one of their ships got despawned for QA, and they're still wrecking these guys with just one Kratala lost. I'm sure all the Mahawks are still alive. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, a single Mahawk died. So one Mahawk and one Shah Kratala died. And in return they knocked out a 2-mil fleet. You can't say this is a fair fight. Yes, there is wave 2 still. Okay. That is the end of this wave, though. And a second Shah has killed itself because it decided to become one with the sinking ship. But that will be the end of this wave. Now for part 2. Mababa have reinforced with 4 Enochs, a Kasal Jidar, and a Shah Abara. Whereas the defenders, or who I consider the defenders, whatever you want to put it, have brought in 10 Sky-class Salties from... Oh, that doesn't look good. Cool target indicator from Mababa, I believe. 10 Sky-class Salties, 2 Mirnis from Zaftra, these gorgeous Soviet-style ships. And then 2 more Chevaliers from Eon. And of course the Mabarrabha side still has 1 Shah Kratala, there are 14 Mahawks, and the original Shah Abara. But the Kratala here is taking quite a bit of damage, which is very good. It appears to be the missile bait right now for the Sky-class Salties, which is good because it needs to die to make sure that these guys don't get eaten by the hands. And speaking of the hands, it appears that they're all down to little nuns, which is very good. But there's still a lot of damage coming in. That Mirni is only 98, but that is a lot of fire. For which I believe the circling Mahawks and probably the Enochs are to blame. Yeah, the Enochs are missile spammers. It seems. It would appear. The Shah Abaras are, of course, cannon craft. And the Kasal Jidar is pack craft, I do believe. Let's look inside the box to be sure. Yep. It's got a bunch of packs around it. And this is a version that does not spawn extra power producers, I believe. And I mean, the targeted Salty has taken a lot of damage. It's obviously much worse off than its comrades. Although not by a terrible amount. This guy's also at 82. Could have been a previous target though, or could just be eating missiles. This guy's full. And the Mirni over here is not looking great. Already 90% damage and 1 turret lost, another one damaged. Missiles and the secondary seem to be doing well though. And this Mirni is not much better, 93%, but still has all the guns. But good-sized chunks of the armor are starting to fall off. And a lot of laser detonators indicating that more fun is to come. Now once the Shah Kratala here goes down, that'll free up a lot of target prio to go after things like the Enochs and the Shah Abaras, which currently are hardly being touched. The Kasal Jidar is a similar story. I would like to reiterate again how Mababa builds much more powerful craft than the people in the medium meta corner, even when Mababa has terrible quality assurance issues. I don't know why Eon and company were fine with an equal cost fight, and also why Mababa is so angry that they ended up with one not equal cost fight. Like, I'm pretty sure the 2 mil that you're sending to that land battle can take on the 4 odd mil that are defending it. But hey, the Kassaji Dar is down to a terrible 96%. Meanwhile, the stuff it's targeting is about to despawn. The Mirni over there is now down to 82, and the other one is below 90 as well. Chevalerns are doing a little bit better, but Shah-Bars are still pouring in fire, and all of the missile spamming Enochs and Mahawks are keeping up their fire. I think every battle where Mababa brings those in, it's just like free firepower that's never going to get destroyed, unless you're fighting someone with dedicated anti-air lasers and missiles. And it's just free DPS roaring in. That will continue well past your main vehicles are destroyed. I think long range, low prio, proximity fused ensign missile spammers are the bane of existence for any fun battle, or any fair battle, especially against a meta inferior opponent. It's just too good. Like, it's just free firepower. Like a Mahawk over here costs 8k, and it delivers you a free 4 racks of small missiles that just constantly add damage. And they've got 14 of them here. Mababa are 100% going to win this. There's no way the defenders are going to have it. This is a cool missile deco. Looks like a miniature version of the eye. But cool missile decos do not make missiles uncringe. Shakratala is almost dead. Oh boy, this Shah Abara over here is getting flanked. Too bad it's still at 99% health. And this Shah Abara, oh my, it might also get flanked. But it is also at 99% health. Meanwhile, its poor target is well below 90. Oh, Chevaler, you guys are struggling enough already. Yeah, the missile ban for Season 3 might have to happen. Like, we keep trying to minimize just how bad missiles really are, but like, come on. They slow down the game, they are hard to counter, easy to spam. They are half the reason Leptons are as good as they are. And they're not even as fun to look at. Oh, the Shakratala is finally dying. And in the time it's taken the defenders to finish off one heavily damaged ship to begin with, they've taken their 2 largest vessels down to 75% average. The Chevalarns are down to 84% average. At least one Sky class has been sunk, make that a second one destroyed. Most of the rest are in their mid-90s, if not worse. Meanwhile, yeah, nothing else on the Mababa side has taken any meaningful damage. Shabara 99. Shabara 99. Mole Kasal Oh, you're 82. I stand corrected, but that's still better than most of the capital ships you're fighting against. And despite taking now 19% damage, the firepower of this thing is not at all reduced. Unless some engines are going down, which they might be. I see a couple engines might have some damage, but I'm sure this guy has enough redundancy that it's not going to be that meaningful of a DPS loss. Oh yeah, I agree banning a weapon type is cringe. I'm not actually planning on banning missiles. It's just using missiles as a crutch or as a primary weapon type when you're already a very meta capable nation, especially when you're punching down like this, is just heckin' terrible. Like, ideally, people would all understand how cancer missiles are and choose to self-regulate on that. And maybe had the cancer, maybe when Season 3 happened, people understand how cancer they were in Season 2. And be like, hey, I'm not gonna build strongly around missiles, I'm not gonna use missile leptons wherever they are, hovering in the distance. I'm not gonna go to the missile meta if I start losing. And we'll just see the occasional more basic application of missiles like the Sky class that have a reasonable 2 cross-deck missile launchers in addition to guns. And the missiles are very vulnerable to damage and therefore aren't, and the ships are very easy to hit, which is a far cry from a 2.5 kilometer orbiter, which is well protected and does nothing but laser designated proxy fuse instant missiles. Rest in peace, this Chevalarn. Shelavarn, not Chevalarn, Shelavarn. It's his brain is too lost. He too ooped. Yeah, his brain destroyed, his small brain. Well protected and or surviving by benefit of being at long range and or evasive. Long range for the Enax, long range and evasive for the Mahawks. Which, I'll be honest, if I knew they were this bouncy, especially in this battle, that is not okay for a 1.5 kilometer orbiter. Like, that's just straight up and down sinusoidal evasion. And like, that's not terrible in a high meta region where if people are taking those out, they're using missiles that don't care about the evasion or lasers for whom evasion is irrelevant. But in this kind of battle, I don't even want to know how many shots have been wasted shooting at Mahawks that are impossible to hit with cannons. Like, this season would have been infinitely better without Mahawks, to be honest. I haven't seen a single battle where Mahawks added to making it more interesting. They've just weighted every battle slightly in favor of Mababa and slightly against the favor of a quick battle. Like, you can argue, yeah, your designs are meant to weigh the battle in your favor, but I feel like the Mahawks do so with no other benefits. Like, you don't see them. I didn't even know what a Mahawk looked like until like turn 12 when I was like, what is this thing? Is that the vaunted Mahawk? But yeah, I don't know. I started the season with a lot of patience for everyone, and I have lost all of the patience that I have for most of the high meta nations, especially the Norse folk. Between like quality assurance issues, lag issues, try-harding issues, just everything. And it's so easy to vent that against the big lag candidates of giant empty craft full of square corners, Mahawks that orbit and evade at comically long range, craft that until recently abused the repair allocations, and so on. Yeah, these things look cool. Like the the saving grace of Mababa is that their stuff is interesting and really cool in appearance. I just wish it wasn't so terrible to fight lag and balance-wise. Like, if they were fighting Erewhon, yeah, I've got no balance concerns. But punching down like this and complaining about it, that really irks me. And then justifying the whole thing by saying, no, we're not actually... It's not actually that unfair of a fight. Mababa's really mid or low meta. And the people they fought, well, if they beat the Dust Bunnies are better than Mababa, so Mababa's really being kind by having an equal cost battle here. Look at this! Time has proven you stupid. This is not a fair fight. This is not even close to a fair fight. Yeah, NSA just have, in my opinion, poor aura. Obviously, other people have said similar things. I don't know. As a prearranged war, I don't mind this, but then complaining when one thing in the war goes bad for you, or the war escalates in a way that's bad for you, whatever, man. You're winning this battle. You're wiping out more fleets, more materials here from the southeast corner than probably the entire Bunny War just from this battle alone. Like, that's 6 mil fleets going gone. I don't know the full costs that were lost in that war, but I don't think it was quite 6. The only thing that made Northspoke not completely irredeemable in terms of power level was the fact that Brick scaled up so rapidly near the end. Like, Northspoke was an alliance that for most of the game, or for much of the game, could defeat every other power, like, all allied together, if they played their cards even reasonably well. I may be wrong on that, but like that is my intuition of how their power compared. They could have beat all of the other high meta nations at once. They could have beat the entire southern half of the pinwheel at once. Both, maybe not at the same time, but they could have, if they like did a bit of Diplo, they could have probably beat both everyone else in the north and everyone else in the south at the same time. But instead, you just saw a very pitiful nation, or a very pitiful war against Relic and Fick, where Northspoke had like easily, I would say like 4 to 5, if not like 10 times the attack strength. It was brutal. Like, Erewhon alone against those two would have still been an utter cakewalk. And I don't fully expect every nation to try and get like fair equal capability wars. I think it is the most interesting if people do. If you're like, okay, I'm 2 nations worth strong, I should try and fight a 2-nation alliance. That is like my peak vision for what TPD should look like, because you then get fair battle or fair wars that are more interesting and dynamic. Whereas there was no changing tide of battle in the war against Relic and Fick. It was a sweep from the beginning to the end. And if your goal is to win, Northspoke, you've done it. You've won. No one can compare to you. Good job. But I do not think that in so doing you have made the game as interesting as it easily could have been. Like, the Machiavelli in me says that near the end of the Fick War, Mababa and Sword should have realized, shoot, if we win this battle and Erewhon takes everything that they want to take, Erewhon is undefeatable. So they should have teamed up with Brick and tried to destroy Erewhon, or they should have convinced Erewhon to attack Brick to get Brick to join them in that battle. Like there were the Machiavellian strategy should have meant that everyone needed to team up on Erewhon as soon as possible, and Erewhon's allies did not want to give that up. But hey, fair play. I mean, you won every war that you fought. I can't fault you too much for that. But it has been at the loss of some interest that could have been. Those salties are all dead. And I don't know about the other salty. I don't even know where he's at. He's probably also... I bet this is him. No, he's way over there. Let's see. Hope he is vibing. We've got 4 more percentage points of health for me to complain about the North Spoke. If I had been a more active GM as I wanted to be, and I kind of was in Season 1, I would have done my best to try and provoke more things, to get a more equal and fair set of wars. Like in Season 1, I was behind the scenes trying to let people know, like, hey, you should fight this person now or they're going to be too strong, or if you make this alliance, it will not be an interesting battle. But I just didn't have the time or involvement in Season 1. I just did in Season 2, I just tried to do some little nudges of, hey, there is one nation on the map that is not Brick, that is stronger than, like, the next 5 nations combined, and maybe you should do something about that. And no one ever cared. So obviously my nudges were a little bit too subtle. But in the end, it's the season we ended up with, and despite some battles being cringe, there were still some cool ones, and I am sure that people will still be inspired by the Mababa craft that we've seen, the Erewhon craft we've seen, the sword craft, and everyone else too. But there was certainly more opportunity for battles and wars to go in a more fair and interesting way. But that is it for this one. Thank you for listening to an hour of me sharing my unadulterated thoughts. Thanks for watching.